Here's something that everybody needs to hear and everybody needs to know before you start any sort of YouTube channel. YouTube is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You are not going to become a millionaire by putting out 3 videos. Alright, welcome back to Blackphoenix Entertainment. Let's talk about motovlogging and YouTube and all that fun stuff and how you can be a motovlogger on YouTube, or if you're a small channel, small motovlogger, how you can become a larger channel, such as myself. Now, I don't 100% consider myself a large channel. I have just recently hit 1,000 subscribers, but I think this may be a good time to talk about how I've got here on my journey, what I do, gear, editing, all that fun stuff. So stick around and we'll talk about it. So one of the first things you will probably hear people talk about is your gear, cameras, microphones, all that stuff. I am going to tell you outright right now, this camera you're watching me on right now cost me $50. It is a knockoff Chinese GoPro, a newer G2 action camera. It will do 4K if you want, for the battery life. But that's all it takes, guys. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you got to go out and buy $1,000 cameras and all this stuff. It doesn't take much. If you can shoot in 1080, 30 frames, really that's all that matters. Because what happens is, and what I don't know if a lot of people notice this, YouTube won't always put your highest resolution as a default when someone clicks on it. So if someone clicks on your video, you have it in 4K, whatever, it may default to 1080, 30 frames. And they have to manually go down and change it. I've noticed that. A few other people have noticed that. So take that for what it's worth. And while we're on the topic of gear, you'll notice, again, through this camera view, I've got the Center Prism 2 Pro. Not a lot of vloggers will use a side-mounted camera, and not a lot of them will use this one. Most people will want to go for the front-faced GoPro mount. Why didn't I go with this? And it's not always because of this helmet. I did have a different helmet before. This Icon helmet. I just read so many bad experiences about the GoPros and audio and stuff like that, and guys having to go out 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Even Walter Riffick, 2 million plus subs, says he's got to go out 2 or 3 times sometimes and record a vlog. I don't have time for that shit. I really don't. I work 50-something plus hours a week. I've got a family. I've got other things that I do. I can't go out and record a vlog 3 times. I just don't have time. So I was looking up other alternatives. This Sena has an integrated mic and speakers and all of that that attaches directly through a mini USB to this camera. I have had zero issues with it. I highly suggest it. If you're like me and you don't have the time, look into this camera. And that is another topic that I'm probably going to spend some more time on, is time. It takes a lot of your time, not just going out and filming and all that, editing, putting the videos up on YouTube. But it doesn't stop there. You're not just doing YouTube. You want to hit every social media aspect that you can. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok are probably the biggest ones there. There's other, I think you've got Tumblr and all the other Reddit, stuff like that, all the other obscure sites. So you're like, I'm going to be a YouTuber. You're not just a YouTuber. You've got to sell yourself on every other platform. If your goal, and again, keep this in mind, if your goal is to get up there, is to, really be a name in the motovlogging community. If you just want to go out and put out videos for fun, hey, don't worry about all the other ones, just do YouTube. That being said, not only is your time set doing that, as you get bigger, people are going to notice you, and you may want to get some sponsors involved, which I have. So, I have the Lunify deal, which if you want to go down to my description, I've got the discount code down there. Go check out the website. There are some awesome packages down there. They have whole sets of clothing, shorts, blankets, all that fun stuff. Go and check it out. And that is something else when I talk about time. I have taken the time to work with Lunify, do Lunified only posts. That is part of the agreement. And I've done photo shoots specifically for Lunified. So again, you've got to mix up your time. And again, all of that is me working a full-time job in IT, which is not all that fun in of itself, because that takes a lot of time. So if I'm scaring you away with the time, it's because I'm doing it on purpose. It will take a ton of your time. And what I do sometimes to alleviate some of that is I will bank videos for a couple weeks, and that'll give me a few days, if not maybe a week, of just kind of decompressing and being like, all right, I can focus on some other stuff. And then once that's done, all right, let me go back to YouTube. That's just a little helpful hint there for you guys. Woo. Birds. And the other thing, talk about time, content. Content is what it is. Like, if you don't have content, you have nothing. And that was something that I had a brief interaction with Chase on Two Wheels on one of his videos. That's what he said. Don't worry about being huge. Don't worry about all your sponsors. Don't worry about Chase cameras. Don't worry about, shooting in 4K, any of that stuff. Get what your channel is, who you are, and your content down first. Get the audience to come in, then worry about all that later. Because once your channel gets bigger, it actually becomes easier to focus on all that stuff, because now you have the audience, now you have the content already set. So what do you do for content? What do you do for a channel? I'm gonna make a suggestion here. When you come up with a name, and this is just my opinion, and I'm not trying to bag on anybody out there, do not make a bike specific name, only because I have seen some channels, especially bigger channels such as Cat Camp and Grammy Bear, change their channel names because they no longer have that bike, or they're no longer going in that direction. A channel name change is tough, especially as you get bigger. It's harder to kind of move and shift directions, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Let's use myself as an example. What I have gotten in person and online is everyone's like, wow, Blackphoenix, that is really cool. That's a cool name. And the design, my logo, all of that, they're like, that is really cool. The entertainment, again, doesn't stick me into one thing. I can go branch off into other things. I'm not Blackphoenix on a spider. I'm not the spider guy. I'm not all of this. I can do other things. I can do skits with my family and friends. I can do other types of content. And it's not, I kind of want to say weird, because my channel name is Blackphoenix Entertainment. So you're not thinking to yourself, oh, he only does spider stuff. So just think about that quickly. So I'm hoping so far that this makes sense to everybody. And like I said, I was going to take this in a different direction, kind of work it a little bit differently, because I would say 90% of my videos is this, me being on the spider talking to you. I do other stuff. I've got some do-it-yourself videos. I've got some stuff in my office, mail calls. I do a couple skits and things like that. That's what you've got to decide on your channel. What type of motovlogging channel are you going to be? And I'm going to throw out some that are out there. Superman Kev, he does a lot of kind of voiceover type of skits types videos, not so much on the bike. You've got Anonymous Biker USA. He does a lot of voiceover kind of, I want to call it cinematic type videos, but he also does bike stuff too. But, so he kind of does like a half and half, I would say. Maybe leaning more towards cinematic. I don't know. I'm sure he'll chime in and tell me that I'm wrong, but I'm just trying to give you guys a couple different channels to look at. What I don't want you to do, I really think I took the wrong turn, but I'm just going to keep going. What I don't want you guys to do is look at the huge channels and try to emulate them, because it is just not going to work. You are not going to be Walterific. You're not going to be Fooligan. You're not going to be, somebody like Cat Cam or anything like that. Be you. And that was something that I struggled with when I began. Even though I know who Blackphoenix is, I know kind of what I wanted to do, I didn't know how I wanted to mold this channel and my content, and yeah, I'm going this way. It was a struggle at first to really get to what I wanted to do, because I honestly got caught up in the whole shock type video, like, oh, this guy cut me off, let me scream at him, let me do this, and then you get picked up by compilation channels, and then you're like, oh, this is cool. That doesn't last. That is a short-term bump, and those people, I can tell you, probably don't stay. So, again, this is just my opinion. If you want to make that type of channel, hey, go for it. I'm just, from experience, I'm telling you, those aren't the types of subs and views that will keep your channel afloat. And it does take a while, and it took me a while, and I've had hits, I've had misses. We're all going to do that. Don't get discouraged if something that you thought was going to take off doesn't. Because believe me, every single motovlogger has this. You make a video, you spend a lot of time, you're like, yeah, this is going to be cool. Nobody watches it. Don't worry about it. That doesn't bother me anymore, because the weird thing is, the videos that you think are awesome flop, and the ones that you think are going to flop but you put out anyways, those are the ones that end up catching on and people like and all that stuff. That is a huge goddamn house. Holy crap. This is why we can't afford to live in the state anymore. But anyways, yeah, so don't worry about it, especially if you're first starting out. Just throw content out there. You'll find out as you're doing it what you're more comfortable with doing, what makes you happier doing, and what catches on with the audience that you start getting. And happiness. You've got to be happy with what you're doing. And that was something that I don't think I've 100% talked about. Sure, like I said, getting on those compilation channels, all that stuff, that was fun. But then it gives you the perception of that's who you are. No, that's not the perception I want to put out there. That's not what I want. When people look at Blackphoenix Entertainment, that's not what I want people to think. So that's a whole other thing. What is the perception that you want other people to think of your channel? That was a horrible sentence, but I hope you get the idea of what I'm saying. So we've talked about time, gear, content. Again, the YouTube stuff. Yes, you should. Titles of videos are important. I would definitely say put some effort into the titling of your video. Tags, YouTube have changed it, not so much. Hashtags on videos, put at the bottom. You can do 3, that'll show up at the top. That's pretty important there. What else? Let's see, what else can we do? What else can we talk about? Dead air. Let's talk about dead air. See, I'm going to talk about things that I don't think a lot of other vloggers talk about. If you've got a long period of time where you're just thinking or doing nothing, cut that out. Cut that out and kind of reshoot and start from the beginning of where you were. No one wants to watch dead air. Unless you make it a bit and you make it funny, or maybe you throw some music to it or something like that. If it's seriously just you having a brain freeze for like 15 to 20 seconds, please don't include that in your videos. That's just another useful tip from your friend, Blackphoenix.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
You've got to have thick skin. And I think this is something that a lot of motovloggers are talking about recently when they make these types of videos. Dude, social media is so goddamn toxic. Every portion of it, every site, every app, all of that has its trolls and just the toxicity that goes along with it. Don't worry about it. Really, just don't let it bother you, because trust me, the positives will definitely outweigh the negatives, and the people that you meet and talk to will definitely outweigh those random keyboard warrior comments that you get. So yeah, please just don't, especially if you're just starting out, because I've seen it scare some people away. Don't worry about the keyboard warrior comments. They mean nothing. They've got nothing better to do. Keep on doing what you're doing. Focus on the positive stuff, and anyone who's giving you constructive criticism, because that's different. I think we all know what troll comments are, just plain old hate comments and stuff like that. But if someone is legitimately trying to help you and giving you constructive criticism, like, hey, I don't think that camera view works for you, or that type of bike that you have, or maybe your handlebar was in the way, or something like that, or your helmet view was a little skewed, that's fine. I would be totally cool if someone told me that. Like, hey, you know, something's a little off in your video, otherwise it was good. That's totally cool. Alright, so here's something that everybody needs to hear and everybody needs to know before you start any sort of YouTube channel. YouTube is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You are not going to become a millionaire by putting out 3 videos. It doesn't work that way. I have experience with working with someone who thought that's how it worked. Guess what? Now they do nothing. So, I don't know how else to explain that, but it is a grind. And yes, you'll get sponsors. Yes, you can get monetized. You can make a couple pennies on your videos. It's really not all that much. It is really, really hard to make YouTube a job. It can be done. Not saying it isn't. Doodle did it. Walterific did it. There are guys out there, guys and girls out there who have done it, but they've put the work in. And I guarantee it's not the only thing they make money from. So let's just take myself for example. And I've said it before. I've mentioned it to other motovloggers who have asked, personally, offline. I work in IT. I've been doing this for a long time. As much as I sometimes complain about the hours, I'm very grateful of where I am and what I'm able to accomplish having this job. Unless a company came up to me and said, we are going to hire you to be our advertising sponsorship or whatever, and gave me a full-time contract and all that stuff, there's absolutely no way YouTube or any sort of minor sponsorship deal is going to make me go full-time. There's just no way. And everybody else's deal is a little different, but that's mine. And I just wanted to let you guys know that's kind of how it works. You're not gonna, like I said, you're not gonna make 3 videos and then become a millionaire and go buy Lambos and all that shit like Mr. Beast. That doesn't happen. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry to be that guy, but someone's gotta tell you. It's getting hot now that I'm driving through the city. So what does that all mean? That basically just means, yeah, it'd be great if that happened to me, but you've got to have fun and you've got to be happy with what you're doing. Don't chase numbers. Hello. And just be random. Just be you. And just laugh with what you're doing, because they will know. They will know if you're faking it, if you're playing a gimmick and all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff on YouTube is getting exposed now. And it's actually working counteractive to the point where those channels aren't getting the views that they used to get anymore. I know, I feel like I'm just kind of rambling, but I feel like I just want to talk about as many subjects that pop into my head to help out someone who's watching this video. So I definitely appreciate you sticking through the whole thing and, just listen to me talk about my point of view and stuff like that. If you want to play a gimmick channel, if you want to play a character, do wacky shit and all that stuff, that is totally cool. Just be honest that that's what you're doing. Because there are some channels out there that don't do that, even though it's blatantly obvious, and to me it's kind of weird and it's kind of cringy and hard to watch. So if you just put that out beforehand and be like, hey, this is me, this is gimmick, this is entertainment, that's cool, because then I can watch it in a different way and laugh at it instead of being like, ooh, this guy is kind of strange. So I hope this video gave you a little bit different point of view than maybe some other videos out there that talk about the same subject. As long as I help out a couple people, I'm happy with that. Yeah, if you got any questions, always drop me a comment.
Eventually.
So what I was trying to say was, I'm hoping this helps out somebody. It was just taken from my personal experiences getting up to 1,000 subscribers and what I've been through, what I've noticed, all that stuff. If you've got any questions at all, always drop down in the comment section, leave me a comment, ask me some questions. I always try to answer every single comment that comes in. And if you don't want to leave a comment, or you got something a little bit longer you want to talk to me about, check out my email address in the description, and find me on the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and we can chat there. So, all that being said, I appreciate everyone who has watched all the way to this part of the video. You guys are awesome, and you get to hear about me talking about Lunified and all my other cool stuff in my description. While you're down there leaving a comment, why don't you open that up and check out all the cool stuff I have for you. What are you doing, dude? See, those are perfect. That's a perfect example of what you would run into motovlogging. You just try and you try, but no, there's always something that interrupts you. So anyways, go down in the description, check out all my cool stuff. I really appreciate it. And this video has obviously been long enough, so I must now bid you adieu. So goodbye and good night.